Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Prasant Kumar Sinha with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefits under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme tomorrow. NIA conducts raids at multiple locations across Jammu and Kashmir in connection with funding of anti-India activities. Country's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 50 crore mark. Recovery rate touches 97.39%. Delhi to reopen all weekly markets from tomorrow with COVID-19 protocols in place. Karnataka becomes first state to issue order to implement new Education Policy 2020 from current academic session. Lightning kills 14 people in Bihar. Met Department predicts heavy rains and lightning in the next 48 hours in different parts of the state. Nation observes 79th anniversary of Quit India movement today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar shares concerns over Afghanistan's security situation with Qatar's Special Envoy Mutlaq bin Majid Al-Kehetani in New Delhi. World's biggest sporting event, Tokyo Olympics, is coming to an end today. Bajrang Punia to be the flag bearer for India at the closing ceremony. And in cricket, India need 157 runs to win first test of the 5-match series against England on the final day today. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise the young listeners to get vaccinated and also help others get vaccinated. We also advise the listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011 2397 8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release the next installment of financial benefit under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme tomorrow via video conferencing. This will enable the transfer of an amount of more than 19,500 crore rupees to more than 9.75 crore beneficiary farmer families. The Prime Minister will interact with farmer beneficiaries during the event and will also address the nation. Addressing the farmer community last time while releasing the installment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said the scheme is benefiting the small and marginal farmers in a large way.
साथियों, पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि से विशेष रूप से छोटे और मझोले किसानों को अधिक लाभ हो रहा है। आज के कठिन समय में ये राशि इन किसान परिवारों के बहुत काम आ रही है। अभी तक इस योजना के तहत देश के लगभग 11 करोड़ किसानों के पास लगभग 1,35,000 करोड़ रुपए पहुंच चुके हैं। मतलब कि 1.25 लाख करोड़ से भी ज्यादा सीधे किसानों के खाते में, कोई बिचौलिया नहीं। इनमें से सिर्फ कोरोना काल में ही 60,000 करोड़ रुपए से ज्यादा पहुंचे हैं।
The National Investigation Agency NIA today carried out raids at multiple locations across Jammu and Kashmir in connection with the funding of anti-India activities. Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF also assisting the NIA. Raids were conducted at over 45 places across J&K, including Doda, Kishtwar, Ramban, Anandnag, Badgam, Rajouri and Shopian. People linked with Jamaat-e-Islami JEI have been raided. Our correspondent reports NIA teams has flown from New Delhi to Srinagar to conduct the operations. The investigating body has seized documents and digital devices, and it is said to be one of the biggest crackdowns against Jamaat-e-Islami, an outfit that was banned by the central government in 2019 due to its pro-Pakistan and pro-separatist leanings.
India's COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed 50 crore 68 lakh mark. Over 55 lakh 91,000 vaccine doses were administered in the previous 24 hours. A total of 43,910 patients recovered during the past 24 hours. The recovery rate is currently at 97.39%. Over 3 crore 10 lakh 99,000 people have recovered across the country so far. More than 39,000 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. India's active caseload is currently at 4,06,822. Active cases constitute 1.27% of the total number of cases. A total of 491 deaths were reported in the previous 24 hours. Testing capacity has been substantially ramped up and 48 crore tests have been conducted in total. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has announced reopening of all weekly markets in the national capital from tomorrow with COVID-19 protocols in place. In a tweet, the Chief Minister stated that his government is concerned about the livelihoods of people associated with these markets. He, however, said everyone's health and lives are also important and urged people to follow COVID-appropriate behavior after these markets are reopened. The weekly markets were closed after lockdown was imposed in Delhi in April due to the second wave of COVID-19.
COVID-19 second wave in Maharashtra started from a few districts of Vidarbha region. Bhandara was one of the districts where early signs of the second wave were detected. The Union Health Ministry has to send a central health team to review the situation in Bhandara in February this year. During the month of April, active cases in Bhandara reached more than 15,000. But now, for the last 3 days, that district has reported 0 active cases.
Since last 3 days, Bhandara, one of the 35 districts of Maharashtra, is reporting 0 or nil active cases of COVID-19. And that is quite remarkable on the background that the second wave of the state has started in the Vidarbha region, of which Bhandara is one of the important districts. The testing, tracing, treatment, COVID-appropriate behavior, and people's or community participation, these are the 5 important points around which the preventive and control measures of this particular district revolves.
The district has not reported a single new patient since 24th July 2021, even after testing more than 600 samples on a daily basis. District Collector Sandeep Kadam said they have planned micro-containment zones in the district. Senior officers were assigned the task to implement it effectively. Now, the local administration is preparing for a possible third wave of COVID-19. Bed capacity is increased by 25% and out of which 10% are reserved for children. Oxygen plants have been set up. Training of healthcare workers is going on and various other measures implemented to avoid possible third wave. Karnataka government has issued order to implement the National Education Policy NEP from the current academic year 2021-22. Higher Education Minister Dr. C.N. Ashwatha Narayan has said that Karnataka has become the first state in the country to implement the NEP. More from a correspondent.
The National Education Policy that aims at increasing the gross enrollment ratio in higher education from 26.8% in 2018 to 50% by 2035 will bring in sweeping reforms in the area of education. Karnataka has been taking steps to implement the policy since it was approved by the Central Cabinet. Once implemented, the National Skills Qualification Framework will become part of the graduation program. They can get a maximum of 40% credits through official online courses and 50% credits from any university. They have the option to discontinue and integrate courses after a specific period. A single regulator will oversee higher education in the country. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
In Assam, 50,000 Divyangs were administered COVID-19 vaccines. Talking to All India Radio, Director of Social Welfare Department, Bibhash Modi said that the target of vaccinating 50,000 Divyangs has been completed. Mr. Modi said despite completing the target in the stipulated time, the vaccination for the differently abled are continuing. He said that several organizations extended support to the Assam government in its efforts to vaccinate Divyangs. In Mizoram, the state government has relaxed the ongoing lockdown restrictions in capital city Aizawl to resume economic activities. However, partial lockdown has been clamped till the 14th of this month, lifting the total lockdown restrictions which have been in force in the Aizawl Municipal Corporation AMC area during the past 3 weeks. As per the new guidelines, shops, markets and commercial transport will be allowed to operate in restrictive manner from tomorrow. However, all public places of gathering will remain closed. Official statement said that while total lockdown was crucial to check the spread of COVID cases, a further extension is not reasonable because it has severely affected the economy and the livelihood of the poor. Union Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has said that the country has made significant achievements under the Jal Jeevan Mission despite the challenges of the COVID pandemic during the past almost 16 months. Talking to media in Raipur, the capital of Chhattisgarh, he said that there are about 74 districts in the country where tap water has been provided to every household. Besides, in more than 1 lakh villages and about 55,000 panchayats, 100% target has been achieved under the Jal Jeevan Mission.
देश के 3 करोड़ 23 लाख घरों की माताओं बहनों को ही पानी पीने के लिए घर में उपलब्ध था। वो आंकड़ा बढ़कर के 4 करोड़ 50 लाख से ज्यादा नए घरों को कनेक्शन पिछले इस 18 महीने के कालखंड में दे पाए हैं। माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व में हम लक्ष्य लेकर के चलेंगे कि हम 2024 तक देश में एक भी माँ बहन ऐसी नहीं रहे जो पीने का पानी लेने के लिए अपने सर पर मटका रख करके या हाथों में बाल्टी उठाने कर लाने के लिए अभिशप्त हो।
During his visit to Chhattisgarh yesterday, Mr. Shekhawat reviewed progress of Jal Jeevan Mission and Jal Shakti Abhiyan in the state with Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefits under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme tomorrow. NIA conducts raids at multiple locations across Jammu and Kashmir in connection with funding of anti-India activities. Country's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 50 crore mark. Recovery rate touches 97.39%. Delhi to reopen all weekly markets from tomorrow with COVID-19 protocols in place. Karnataka becomes first state to issue order to implement new education policy 2020 from current academic session. Lightning kills 14 people in Bihar. Met Department predicts heavy rains and lightning in next 48 hours in different parts of the state. Nation observes 79th anniversary of Quit India movement today. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar shares concerns over Afghanistan's security situation with Qatar's Special Envoy Mutlaq bin Majid al-Qahtani in New Delhi. World's biggest sporting event, Tokyo Olympics, is coming to an end today. Bajrang Punia to be the flag bearer for India at the closing ceremony. And in cricket, India need 157 runs to win the first test of the 5-match series against England on the final day today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back. You are listening to the Midday News. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar shared concerns over Afghanistan's security situation during a meet with Qatar's Special Envoy Mutlaq bin Majid al-Qahtani in New Delhi. During the meet, Jaishankar shared New Delhi's perspective on the recent developments in the war-torn Afghanistan. Mr. Majid was on a 2-day visit to India to discuss the peace process in Afghanistan. The envoy also met with multiple key officials in the External Affairs Ministry. In a tweet, Mr. Jaishankar wrote, "Rapid deterioration of the security situation is a serious matter." He said a peaceful and stable Afghanistan requires that the rights and interests of all sections of society are promoted and protected. Recently, during the UNSC meeting on Afghanistan's worsening situation, India's permanent representative to the UN, T.S. Tirumurti, said there should be zero tolerance for terrorism in all its forms. Over the past few weeks, the Taliban have captured several key districts in Afghanistan, including the country's northeastern province, Thakkar. Bharatiya Janata Party's National President Jagat Prakash Nadda has reached Agra, where he is taking part in the meeting of party workers and functionaries. Late in the evening, Mr. Nadda will take part in a program to honor Corona warriors, in which prominent doctors of the Agra city will be present. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath is accompanying him. Yesterday, Mr. Nadda said in Lucknow that the Uttar Pradesh government, under the leadership of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath and guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is working for everyone's development in the state. He addressed a gathering of block heads and Jila Panchayat presidents in the state capital yesterday.
In Bihar, 14 people were killed and 4 injured when lightning struck 3 districts of Aurangabad, Rohtas and Banka. The deceased were working in agriculture fields. The Met Department has predicted heavy rains and lightning in the coming 48 hours in different parts of the state. People have been advised to remain indoors during the natural calamity. Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has expressed grief over incidents and announced an ex gratia of rupees 4 lakh to the next of kin of the deceased. Mr. Kumar has ordered for free treatment to the injured persons. Thousands of people across Kerala performed Karkidaka Vavu Bali, the sacrificial ritual in memory of their ancestors this morning. Unlike in the past, where people used to gather along the river banks, beaches and other water bodies in large numbers, COVID-19 has forced them to perform the rituals in the precincts of their homes. Many places where people used to visit to perform the rites wore a deserted look. The Kerala government has also advised people to avoid public places in view of the prevailing pandemic situation. In temples, limited entry of devotees were allowed. Performing Vavu Bali in the Malayalam month of Karkidakam is believed to be highly auspicious and ideal for attracting prosperity and well-being of the progeny.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, in a first of its kind, the famous clock tower situated at Lal Chowk in the heart of Srinagar city was illuminated in tricolour ahead of the forthcoming 75th Independence Day celebrations by Srinagar Municipal Corporation SMC. Mayor of Srinagar Municipal Corporation SMC, Junaid Azim Mattu, took to Twitter and shared the photographs of the illuminated clock tower, which has also been fitted with brand new small clocks at the top of the tower. Today is the 79th anniversary of Quit India movement. On this day in 1942, father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, gave a clarion call of do or die to all Indians to drive away Britishers from our soil. The movement began from Gawalia Tank in South Mumbai. The day is observed as August Kranti Day every year. More from a correspondent.
On 8th August 1942, Mahatma Gandhi told a crowd at the Gawalia Tank Maidan in Mumbai, "Let every Indian consider himself to be a free man." It was this famous do-or-die speech that launched the Quit India movement or the Bharat Chodo Andolan. Several national leaders, including Mahatma Gandhi, Abdul Kalam Azad, Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel were arrested following this. The first half of the movement was peaceful with demonstrations and processions. The peaceful protest was carried till Mahatma Gandhi's release. Thereafter, the movement led to large-scale violence directed at railway stations, telegraph offices, government buildings and other emblems and institutions of colonial rule. The Quit India movement was the last major civil disobedience movement organized before India became a sovereign nation in 1947. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav being celebrated to mark 75 years of independence, the National Archives of India is organizing an exhibition on the Quit India movement on its 79th anniversary today. Culture Minister G. Kishan Reddy will inaugurate the exhibition in the presence of Ministers of State for Culture Arjun Ram Meghwal and Meenakshi Lekhi. The Culture Ministry said this is an endeavor to portray the significance of the Quit India movement in the freedom struggle of India through public records, private papers, maps, photographs and other allied material. The exhibition will remain open from the 9th of August onwards from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. for the public till the 8th of November of this year. The nation is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav to commemorate the 75th anniversary of India's independence. Series of events are being organized to mark the occasion across the nation. The Mahotsav will be celebrated as Jan Utsav in the spirit of Jan Bhagidari. In this regard, the Indian Council of Historical Research ICHR has planned to celebrate the Mahotsav in a fitting manner. Talking to AIR News, Director ICHR Dr. Omji Upadhyay said the ICHR has planned 75 regional seminars wherein the focus will be on unsung heroes of the freedom struggle and historical places related with the struggle. He said activities have been planned according to 75 regions covering 10 to 12 districts.
Indian Council of Historical Research, an autonomous body under Ministry of Education, Government of India, we have planned a series of programs and publications throughout the year through 75 weeks. In fact, we have planned 75 regional seminars in which we will be focusing on few lesser known or unsung heroes of the freedom struggle movement. We will talk about incidents and places related to freedom struggle movement of that particular region, that particular area. We will be discussing on proscribed literature and institutions, organizations. We have planned 6 national seminars and we have distributed the entire period in 6 segments. In this way, we are going to celebrate, and our objective that the outcome should reach to the last person concerned of the country.
Dr. Upadhyay said 6 national seminars have been planned and the entire period has been distributed in 6 segments ranging from the year 1498 to 2022. He said 2 international seminars will be organized in London and Singapore wherein the revolutionary movement will be discussed. The world's biggest sporting event, the Summer Games, is coming to an end today. The closing ceremony of the Tokyo Olympics 2020 will begin this evening at the National Stadium. The Olympics, which was delayed by a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, was also the first one to be held without spectators. For India, Bajrang Punia will lead the proceedings after being officially named as the flag bearer for the closing ceremony. A report.
Neeraj Chopra's javelin gold made sure that India would leave Tokyo with a record medal haul, the 1 gold, 2 silver and 4 bronze medals, overtaking the previous best tally of 6 at the London Games. Each one of the 7 medals has a unique story from which India will take a lesson that will help the biggest democracy to perform better in the future. Neeraj becomes second Indian after Abhinav Bindra to win an individual gold for India in the history of the Olympics. Interestingly, earlier in Paris Olympics 1900, Calcutta-born Norman Gilbert Pritchard, a British Indian athlete who represented colonial India, became the first Indian to win 2 silver medals in athletics. Curiously enough, coach of Neeraj Chopra, Uwe Hahn, a German track and field champ, is the only athlete to throw a javelin 100 meters or more, with his world record of 104.80 meters. While Chopra clinched India's only gold medal at the Games, there are other stories that also hogged the attention of the sports enthusiasts of the country. Mirabai Chanu became the first Indian to win a medal at Tokyo 2020 with a silver in the women's 49 kg category. PV Sindhu then beat China's He Bingjie to win bronze in badminton women's singles. With the win, she also became the first Indian woman to win 2 individual medals at the Olympics. Lovelina Borogohen was the next to add to the country's tally, bringing home the bronze medal after she went down fighting in the women's welterweight semi-finals. India men's hockey team created history by defeating Germany 5-4 to win their first Olympic medal since 1980. Wrestler Ravi Dahiya then stormed into the final of men's freestyle 57 kg with a stunning comeback win against Kazakhstan's Nurislam Sanayev. Bajrang Punia won his bronze medal match against Kazakhstan's Daulat Niyazbekov to clinch India's 6th medal. Indian women's hockey team put in a spirited performance in the bronze medal match against Great Britain but fell short of their first ever Olympic medal after losing the match 3-4. But the memorable performance of Indian girls trained in the patch of AstroTurf in Haryana won billion hearts in the country. Overall, this is one of the most successful outings for Indian contingents, which will definitely brighten the contour of India in the global sports arena. Ravi Kumar with Pratyush Ghosh for AR News, Delhi.
Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar has announced a cash reward of 6 crore rupees and a Class 1 category government job for javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra, who clinched gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics yesterday. Mr. Khattar also said that the state government will build a centre of excellence for Neeraj in Panchkula, where he will be the head if he chooses to. He will also be given a plot with 50% concession.
वास्तव में जैसे कहते हैं ना, टोक्यो में अपेक्षा के अनुरूप जैसे हम पहले भी सोचते थे कि गोल्ड हमको मिलेगा, गोल्ड मिला। और इस अवसर पर 13 तारीख को अभिनंदन तो हम करेंगे ही, उनको जो हमारी पॉलिसी है उसमें 6 करोड़ रुपए की राशि वो भी दी जाएगी, साथ में क्लास 1 की नौकरी। और नौकरी में भी हमारी ऑफर उनको ये रहेगी कि हम पंचकुला में एक सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस फॉर एथलेटिक्स ये बनाएंगे और उसमें उसका हेड बनाएंगे उसको।
Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh has announced a special cash reward of 2 crore rupees for Neeraj Chopra for winning gold at the Tokyo Games. BCCI also announced a cash reward for medal winners at the Tokyo Olympics. BCCI Secretary Jay Shah said Neeraj Chopra will be given 1 crore rupees. 50 lakh rupees each will be given to silver medalist Mirabai Chanu and Ravi Kumar Dhaiya. 25 lakh rupees each to be given to bronze medalist PV Sindhu, Lovelina Bargohain and Bajrang Punia. Indian 11 is on the verge of winning the opening test against England as they resume the second innings at the overnight score of 52-1 today at Trent Bridge, Nottingham. The visitors just need 157 runs to win the first test of the 5-match series on the final day today. Earlier, India bundled out England for 303. For the visitors, Jasprit Bumrah picked 5 wickets. It was Bumrah's second 5-wicket haul at Trent Bridge. Mohammad Siraj and Shardul Thakur also got 2 wickets each. England set India a target of 209 runs to win the first test. India posted 278 runs in the first innings in response to England's 183, taking a lead of 95 runs. Tens of thousands of Argentines took to the streets of capital Buenos Aires yesterday to protest against poverty and lack of employment amid a long economic crisis that has only worsened by the coronavirus pandemic. Organizations working with the unemployed led the protest that started at a church and ended in Plaza de Mayo, a massive square in front of the seat of government where protests generally take place. Protests also took place in other parts of the country, including in Argentina's second city of Cordoba and the western city of Mendoza. A total of 19 million people, 42% of Argentina's population, was classified as living below the poverty line in the second half of 2020, and unemployment at present stands at 10.2%.
Taliban faced heavy casualties yesterday when Afghan Air Force targeted their gatherings and hideouts in the city of Shibargan, killing 200 members of the terrorist outfit. Taliban gatherings was targeted by a B-52 bomber in Shibargan city of Jazjan province yesterday evening. Afghan commando forces arrested a terrorist who is a Pakistani national from the outskirts of Ghazni provincial center yesterday. He was involved in terrorist activities and the killing of civilians. The capital of Jazjan province in northern Afghanistan fell to the Taliban after week-long violent clashes with government forces. The strategic city of Shibargan is the second provincial capital to fall to the Taliban in the previous 2 days. Now let us take a look at the weather update for today. Srinagar will have partly cloudy skies with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The temperature will hover between 18 and 30 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. It recorded 27 degrees Celsius as the lower limit of temperature, while the upper limit is expected to be nearly 35 degrees Celsius. Leh is likely to witness partly cloudy sky. The lower limit of temperature was 12 degrees Celsius, while the upper will be nearly 28 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have partly cloudy skies with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm, and the temperature will hover between 21 and 36 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy skies becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or towards the night. The minimum temperature was 22 degrees Celsius and the maximum is expected to be around 37. The national capital of Delhi is predicted to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will rise from a minimum of 27 degrees to a maximum of around 34 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have generally cloudy sky with light rain and the temperature will hover between 26 and 31 degrees Celsius. Chennai will witness generally cloudy skies with light rain and will have a maximum temperature of around 36 degrees Celsius. It had recorded a minimum temperature of 28 degrees. Kolkata will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. It had a minimum temperature of 28 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 36 degrees. Guwahati will have generally cloudy skies with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder shower with temperatures rising from a minimum of 27 degrees Celsius to a maximum of 34 degrees. Imphal will have partly cloudy sky with the possibility of development of thunder and lightning. It recorded a minimum temperature of 19 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 27 degrees.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to release next installment of financial benefits under Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme tomorrow. NIA conducts raids at multiple locations across Jammu and Kashmir in connection with funding of anti-India activities. Country's COVID-19 vaccination coverage crosses 50 crore mark. Recovery rate touches 97.39%. Delhi to reopen all weekly markets from tomorrow with COVID-19 protocols in place. Karnataka becomes first state to issue order to implement new education policy 2020 from the current academic session. Lightning kills 14 people in Bihar. Met Department predicts heavy rains and lightning in the next 48 hours in different parts of the state. Nation observes 79th anniversary of Quit India movement today. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar shares concerns of Afghanistan's security situation with Qatar Special Envoy Mutlaq bin Majid Al Kehtani in New Delhi. World's biggest sporting event, Tokyo Olympics, is coming to an end today. Bajrang Punia to be the flag bearer for India at the closing ceremony. And in cricket, India need 157 runs to win the first test of the 5-match series against England on the final day today. And with that, we end the Midday News.